taking us off on the start of the second, where we go. I have 3 words. This young lady works down the block. Long commute down here today. Arachne. Teenage. Public. Alicia Grega, everybody.
Hi. It was the story of the Woody Allen and Soon-Yi Previn scandal. And I apologize for all you wee ones who have no idea who those people are. I remember this not because I chart my life according to celebrity scandals, but because Soon-Yi was living down the hall from me at Drew University when the story broke out. And I was too naive to know that when a current affair says, "Can we ask you a couple of questions?" they mean on TV. That fall, when the back-to-school edition of The Acorn came out, I was on the top 10 list of most embarrassing things we did this summer. Number 2, appear on a current affair. But this story is not about Soon-Yi. We hardly said more than hi, good morning, hot today, isn't it? Until her summer course ended and she gave me all of her leftover dorm room food. That's why I agreed to talk to the blonde reporter. I was afraid that nobody else would have anything nice to say. She was shy and polite, and the thought of people judging her made me sick. I mean, you can't help who you fall in love with, or who you don't. I was not in love with Francisco. Other than Soon-Yi, there were not a lot of people on campus that summer. It was lonely. Every day felt like a week. I had stayed to do an internship at the Playwrights Theater of New Jersey. And as I had learned the summer before, there was absolutely no reason to go back to Moscow, Pennsylvania. When the internship ended, I took a job at the Greek diner in town called the Nautilus. I wanted to, feed myself and stay alive. I was 20, probably in the best shape that I was ever in my life, and a summer romance was not optional. Francisco worked in the kitchen washing dishes. He smiled a lot. He had a sort of aura that Kerouac would describe as beatific. When Hector and the other guys in the kitchen said saucy things about me in Spanish that they thought I couldn't understand, Francisco would look down in embarrassment. I thought of him as a sort of angel. One day, he was wearing these leopard print underwear underneath his white pants, and he caught me staring. I don't remember actually going on a date with Francisco. One day, we just sort of walked after work together. He showed me where he lived, a studio apartment on the 2nd floor over by the used bookstore. He invited me up for a drink, and I think it was while he was looking in the cabinets for a glass that I saw the unopened mail on the table. "Who is Eladio Lescano?" I asked. Apparently Francisco's name wasn't Francisco at all. I would learn that Eladio was from Paraguay. He was Guarani. It's an indigenous tribe from that area in South America. Instead of drinking coffee in the morning, he drank mate from a gourd. He chewed cocoa leaves. I guessed that he was a lot older than his smile. English was his 4th language. He spoke Guarani, and then Portuguese, and then Spanish, and then English. We didn't talk a lot. Madison, New Jersey is a storybook picture perfect sort of town. One day we were walking and smiling and just looking around at everything with that heightened awareness that you have when you're in like the early stages of an infatuation. And then he spoke. There was a short word with an sound in the middle that tripped me up. I didn't understand. There was no context, and he wasn't pointing at anything. He repeated it again. Finally, in frustration, he said, "Iglesia." And I said, "Oh, church!" I consider myself an open-minded sort of person, an anti-snob of sorts, but I couldn't imagine introducing himself to my classmates at college or him coming up to see one of the latest theatrical productions that we were doing. This is Francisco. He washes dishes at the Nautilus. We met over the summer. It was a fling. That's it. But how do you end a fling? I tried not to think about it. Carpe diem and all that. One night we were on his bed. He didn't have a couch. Watching A la Cama con Porcel on Telemundo. Has anyone ever seen this? It's a late night sketch comedy show. Very risque. There's this El Gordo comedian, Jorge Porcel from Argentina, who's the host. And he's kind of repulsive, but these gorgeous, scantily clad women just cling to him like a fur coat anyway. On this particular episode, there was a woman in the shortest skirt I had ever seen. It was, really short. And it was so short she could hardly walk, let alone dance, but she managed this provocative sort of wiggle anyway. And Eladio says, "I bet you could dance like that." Before I even knew what was happening, the women's studies minor in me slapped him crisply across the face. I apologized instantly. This is the only time I've ever slapped a man, I swear. But it was about that time that I ran into some of the other students from the theater department. They were working on a production of Godspell with some kids in a church in Newark, and they asked if I wanted to help. I got on the train after work. I didn't have to make excuses. "Sorry, Eladio, I'm volunteering tonight." It was true. I wasn't really lonely anymore. Not long after that, the fall semester started back up again. I quit the Nautilus. I never saw Eladio again. It was my first summer on my own, alone in the world, and it was scary, but I learned that the only thing lonelier than being alone is being together with somebody who will never understand you.